Hey y'all, long time no upload. Without getting into detail, I'll just say that during the past several months, I've had a few significant setbacks, including a 6-month brutal illness that interfered with every aspect of life. I've bounced back mostly, and that's all I'll say about it, as it's not the point of this update, and I'd prefer not to focus on it. Anyhow, I wanted to kick off the letter S in the alphabet series with a reading of part of a post from about 6 years ago. When I started doing my readings on YouTube, I was asked by a subscriber whether I was going to do an audio version of this article, and I had replied that I wasn't sure, as it had been written to be read by an audience silently rather than to be listened to. And if you're a writer, you'll know what I mean by this. Sometimes the reading aloud of one's writing doesn't quite translate in the way that you want. Voice adds a dimension that requires a different reworking of the material. But I've since changed my mind because I feel that at least part of the writing is a nice segue into the first of the S posts. S is for satire. So I'm reading the first part of the post, and if you want to check out the commentary that forms the second part, there is a link to the original post from my blog below. So here we go.
Life is peaceful there. Go west. Lots of open air. Go west. Dreaming life new. Go west. This is what we do. Go west. Sunny winter time. Go west. We do just fine. Go west. Where the sky is blue. Go west. This is what we do together.
How white women gained control of the West. Back around the year 1000, Scandinavians, a mixed group of Northern European sea warrior types, dominated the British Isles. They came to be known as Vikings, or water raiders. The group was led by fierce and proud, red haired white women, and they were easily bored. Hence all the raiding and pillaging, and don't forget the raping. Remember that there were no fashion magazines or online sex quizzes at the time, and you can only paint your face with woad or alter your war bustier to achieve more cleavage so much before you run out of things to do. It was time to explore. One day, the women decided on an ambitious seafaring mission beyond the British Isles. But it was dangerous, so they decided to send a group of their most useless males to explore and report back, and hopefully bring back riches that women around the world, but especially white women, can't seem to get enough of. Useless and stupid as they were, the men managed to find the oh so fertile lands of Greenland and present day Canadian Baffin Island and Newfoundland. But who the fuck wants to live there, right? We're talking big rocks with very short growing seasons and few people to trade with or conquer. And let's face it, you can only eat so much fish. So the lands went unestablished. Fast forward a few centuries. Mainland European women heard tell of the Vikings' deeds and failures, and they decided they could do things better. And never forget, these were uppity white women, greedy, domineering, vicious, and never satisfied with what they had. Spanish women were probably the most ambitious, due to their Mediterranean passion and hot tempers. It was the aggressive and warmongering Queen Isabella, the Iron Queen, who kicked off the whole thing. She entrapped and manipulated a simple sailing goofball called Christopher Columbus, who, let's face it, was most likely a woman in men's clothing, given his propensity for enslaving conquered populations. Bitches be crazy and oppressive and slavery loving and all that. Chris and her crew of swashbuckling, scurvied women set sail and began their assault on the Americas, starting with the Bahamas and other Caribbean islands. Other European countries joined in, and typical white lady greed took over. Not only could women take over a place and kill the women and rape the men, thus fulfilling their bloodlust and lust, but they could also enslave these unbelievably amazing local societies of innocent noble savages. Everyone knows that Aboriginal peoples are peace loving, sexual equality achieving, and all around nature symbiosis masters. Except for cutting off the noses of adultering women, scalping their enemies, taking over territories of rival tribes, getting high regularly in purported vision quests, etc., etc. If they don't document it themselves, it never happened. Thank you, oral traditions. So, white lady invasion was just an affront to God, or at least the nature god of the natives, because Jesus's dad clearly supported it all. Anyhow, white European ladies cut a swath through the Americas, importing first very young white male bodies for husband slave making and for rapey prostitution fun and general labor. Then they imported black male and female bodies, something the Arabs and Chinese had already been doing for centuries, but it was still probably originally a white lady idea because that's how white chicks are, don't you know? For labor purposes. Settlements were established. Eventually, the cold, unfeeling white ladies of Britain won out. Passion makes for good riots and general mayhem, but the cold and calculating dispassion, typical of the British and especially British women, gives the stamina and strategic objectivity that wins wars in the long run. This is why the French lost and why they still hold a grudge in Europe and in Canada. Less passionate than the Spanish or Italians, the French are still good at riots, fire setting, hissy fits, and other passionate outbursts, but they just can't win against the icy British Constitution when it comes down to it. C'est la vie, c'est la guerre. So, anyhow, Thanksgiving was established in order to rub colonization in the faces of what was left of the Aboriginal people. Nothing to do with sharing the harvest with neighbors and being thankful for food and hoping not to die during the long winters. White women are petty and cruel, as we all know. As time went on, native peoples were pushed farther and farther off their lands, and countries were established. Women drew up constitution to protect the rights of white women. We have famous quotes by America's founding mothers as an example. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Or, every woman and every body of women on earth possesses the right of self government. They receive it with their being from the hand of nature. These founding mothers, as we now understand, wrote solely for themselves and other women in their image. To this day, they are the most protected citizens under American law. White lesbians have always been the worst, narcissistic, cruel, and completely self serving, and they have tended to rise high in the power structure, running Western countries and keeping concubines all over the world. It has even been rumored that they keep virile and troublesome activist men on farms, harvesting their sperm. While they allowed non white women protection and the right to vote later in the 19th century following release from slavery, it took a long, long time for men to achieve suffrage. Today, White men are still the only group who don't have civil rights protection under the American Constitution and its amendments, and are even accused of and blamed for all the evils white women have wrought upon the world. They've been fighting long and hard. I suspect they'll never achieve true freedom while they continue to accept the trappings of sex slavery under women, and while they focus any activism on lifting up non white women instead of themselves. To this day, Americans still haven't been able to accept and elect a white male as president, and it still doesn't look hopeful for the future either, as long as they're satisfied with holding the unofficial office of Western scapegoat. Other North and South American countries have suffered similarly under white lady colonial rule. White lady corporations peddling white lady inventions have destroyed local economies, land and waterway integrity, and local food systems. Poverty is rampant throughout the Southern Hemisphere and has leaked out to other continents through globalization. Damn those white chicks and their evil empire and expansionist mentality. In all places, men have fought amongst themselves. Men who have bothered to speak out for other oppressed men are immediately attacked for their perceived privilege. Perhaps they're married to a powerful, wealthy white woman. They might be too educated or too successful or too something, and are thus patronizing less fortunate men and shouldn't be allowed a voice at all. In reality, very few men achieve success on their own. Orbiting a woman, any woman, is the key to success and security. It is, in fact, a woman's world, and any man who tries to point that out is accused of being a woman-hating andro-Nazi and trying to scrotify society, which is enforcing empathy and merit-based equal rights and opportunities and attacking the natural and justifiable female right to use, abuse, and kill men. Many argue, especially publicly on late night television, that Western society is already suffering and thus circling the drain due to scrotification. And we can't have that now, can we?